And you're watching Business for Live here on One News. I'm Jess De Los Santos. With a year left in office, there's still a long line of measures in President Duterte's priority list that is yet to be signed before his last State of the Nation address on Monday. Let's find out from the British Chamber of Commerce as to what measures they want to be legislated. We have on the show their Executive Director and Trustee, Chris Nelson. Good afternoon, Chris.
Good afternoon, Jess. How are you?
Okay, doing great. First, though, I just want to get your reaction from this bit of development that we've had a few minutes back here. 12 more cases of the Delta variant being reported in the Philippines. Plus, you have reports of a possibility of another surge in cases. Can the economy afford another return to stricter mobility curbs, especially in NCR and nearby regions?
Look, clearly, that's what the business community wants to avoid. And I definitely think, obviously, the key to this is the vaccination rate. And it's working together to get more people vaccinated. We've been a very strong supporter of Goni Gosho. That's the Joey Conception. And we've also been assisting in terms of the private sector. So, yes, we need to avoid that. It can be done, but it also needs an acceleration on the vaccinations.
Mm-hmm. And given that as well, what's your reaction here? What's the sense here? What's the common sentiment here among foreign investors, especially from the UK, as to how the pandemic is being handled here in the Philippines, as well as the pace of vaccination?
Well, look, clearly the UK is leading on, one of the leading countries on vaccination is over 50%, right? Here, obviously, the vaccination rate was relatively low. It's been picking up significantly. There's a lot more vaccines coming in. I think there's a lot more support given. I think what the UK is always looking at is the longer term. So, yes, there's a lot of challenges, and clearly they want to see the economy moving forward and keeping those restrictions, as does, I believe, the mayors of Manila have been quite clear on that. They don't want an overall strong lockdown. But what they're looking for is longer-term signals, and I think that's the more important thing going forward.
And specifically, what signals here are you eyeing?
Well, clearly what we're eyeing actually is the passage of the 3 bills which have been certified urgent operation, the Liberalisation Act. It is the Act and it's the Foreign Investment Act. And this, I think, is a very clear signal to investors that the Philippines is opening up, it's liberalizing its economy, and this is going to boost and support the economy when it's very much needed. And I think it will see, obviously, an increase in foreign direct investment.
Mm-hmm. But how confident are you that these measures will be prioritized by Congress, especially since it's election year next year? They're going to have a shorter time frame for passage of laws. How confident are you that these measures are going to be passed, especially considering that they have been on the back burner for quite some time already?
Well, I'd go, first of all, Retail Trade Liberalization Act, we're very confident. We had a webinar with Senator Pimentel, who's actually the chair handling that committee. He's already had one bicameral meeting. He thinks he'll finish that, or he believes they can conclude with one more meeting. So I think that will definitely pass. I think we then see, obviously, good movement for the Foreign Investment Act. And obviously, the Public Service Act, we're still working on that as well. So optimistic. I'm optimistic that at least one, but I'd like to see all three get passed this year, but definitely one. And I think this is very important. It's something I think people have to understand. We're constantly going back to the UK. Opportunities in the Philippines, and we want to highlight these as well.
Mm-hmm. Chris, what could be the possible repercussions here of the non-passage of these measures? Okay, It seems as though. Okay, Chris, did you hear my question? What do you think are the possible repercussions here should these measures not be passed by Congress? Okay,
Well, look, I think the consequences are that obviously you are less competitive versus other countries, particularly in Southeast Asia. Although we will continue to promote, it gives us a lot more opportunity. I think we have to look at the opportunities, and I think there's a good chance that this will pass, particularly on the Retail Trade Liberalization Act. Obviously, we would encourage Congress. It's been certified, and it will lead to more jobs and more investment, which I think is why the administration has obviously certified as urgent the 3 bills. I hope you can hear me okay, Jess.
Well, bits and pieces at least. But currently, though, the way things stand as an investment destination, how do we fare compared to our neighbors, which are also, of course, combating case surges and the Delta variant? Okay, we seem to have at least again experienced another technical difficulty here trying to reach Chris. But again, he did mention that they are pushing for the passage of the Retail Trade Liberalization Act, Foreign Investments Act, and Public Services Act. He is confident, though, that these measures will be passed, given that there's a shorter time frame for Congress to enact these laws, given that it's also an election year come 2022. He did mention as well that a lot hinges on the country's vaccination pace, especially when it comes to at least investments here in the country. A lot of it hinges on the country's vaccination pace. Thank you very much again to Chris Nelson of the British Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines here for taking his time to be with us in the show this afternoon. And those are the biggest stories this trading day, July 22, 2021. Catch Business World Live again tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. for the market open and 3:15 p.m. for the market close. I'm Jess De Los Santos. We are One News. Mask on.